Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Panzerverse. This is your host, Panzer, speaking. And on today's video, we are going to be talking about my old addiction to Hazbin Hotel that I went through. And I still have an addiction to the show to this day, but it's not as much as it was once before. I did a poll on this with everyone on my YouTube channel. I did a post, and this was the most popular option by a big margin. So, let's talk about it. To talk about the backstory of how I got addicted, we have to understand what was my scenario at the time. This was coming from the middle of my junior year in high school, and during this time I had just asked a girl out. How did that go? Not really well. The girl said no, and yeah, no, I was sad. Like people normally are. You're sad and everything. So I decided to do the responsible thing. Get addicted to a TV show because that's what you do to cope with pain, people. Okay, but now actually moving on to Hazbin Hotel. Now, Hazbin Hotel is a show created by VisiPop, animated first by A24 Studios. Now, the interesting thing about Hazbin Hotel is the pilot came out, I think, in 2019, and the pilot was immediately successful. But then the pandemic hit. And during the pandemic, animation's kind of hard to do at home, but also everything slowed down and there wasn't really the budget to make it. Then Amazon decides to pick up Hazbin Hotel and they start working on Season 1. And the original plan for Hazbin Hotel was, if it did well for Season 1, that 3 seasons of Hazbin Hotel were guaranteed, pretty much. So Season 1 releases towards the end of 2023 and early 2024. And during that time, I watched Episode 1. I didn't watch the pilot beforehand, so I didn't have that kind of information, but I watched the pilot after I watched Episode 1. What I loved about Hazbin Hotel, kind of similar to what I liked about Murder Drones. I loved some of the characters. Now, personally for me, I'm not a big Angel Dust fan or Charlie. I don't like Charlie as a protagonist, but I see why she is the protagonist. I'm more of the guy. I love Alistair because he's the anti-hero, and I'll explain more about what Alistair does as the anti-hero that makes him really, really, really enjoyable to watch. I also enjoy Lucifer. Husk I like a bit. Maggie's pretty interesting, and the rest of the supporting characters are pretty unique in their own ways. And that was one of the main things that got me attracted to the show was, the character designs were really unique. Usually when you watch a show, the character designs aren't super unique. They're pretty similar to each other. Hazbin Hotel, they actually put effort into making the characters look genuinely different. And that definitely helped out the experience. Another reason is the music. The music for Hazbin Hotel slaps pretty hard, and it's very easy to get addicted to that music. I was addicted to all that music. Hell's Greatest Dad. That's my top song of 2024. Am I embarrassed of it? Yes, I am. Will I ever talk about it with anyone else? No. But yeah, that was basically my experience with Hazbin, especially in my junior year, and it was kind of used as a coping mechanism of something where I can escape from. And it was one of my first things that introduced me to the world of indie animation, and it was like Hazbin for me was a way to escape from the real world, to go into a fandom, to go into a side where you learn about interesting lore and everything, and forget about stuff that's actually happening. So for me, Hazbin Hotel has like a special part of me, and that's why I originally got addicted to it. Is for me, it was used as a coping mechanism. Kind of helped my mental health and kind of just helped me in general go through the rest of high school. Moving on, episode 2, 3, and 4 were amazing. It's been a while since I watched them, so I can't make it a deep dive on it. But Hazbin Hotel Season 1 was genuinely great. Episode 5 was probably my favorite just because of Hell's Greatest Dad. And the finale was perfect. I did talk about this when I was originally making my Murder Drones addiction video, but I cut it out in the end. I talked about how Hazbin Hotel made an ending where, in case it wasn't successful and Amazon did not want to renew it, it had an amazing ending where you just could have ended the show. Would there have been plot holes? Yes, there would have been. But it had genuinely probably one of the best endings I have seen from a show so far. And one criticism I'm gonna give: I love Pilot Alistair more than official Alistair. The pilot characters were slightly better in my opinion. Especially Alistair's design was more unique, more cartoony, felt more loved. So you're probably wondering, how did this become an addiction? I bought merch, but luckily at the time, I didn't have that much money, so I just bought a phone case. That was the most I did, I think, for merch. I also used it as my... Yeah, I had it as my wallpapers. That was the other thing I had with the show. I had multiple wallpapers of Hazbin Hotel, so that was another thing. And like I said, it was used, for me, it was used as a coping mechanism to kind of escape, but there were things that moved me away from the fandom. One was the general, more toxic side of the community with the shipping culture, which I'm going to make an entire video on shipping, and I can go on a whole 30-minute rant about Alistair and Lucifer and that ship and how much I hate it. But to oversimplify an already pretty complicated topic, I genuinely did not like the shipping in Hazbin Hotel because it just didn't... For me, it was a thing that I just didn't like. But another thing was also, it was more... Hazbin's more of an adult show, so for me, someone who is starting to head towards adulthood, it was a pretty good show to watch. It's not just a show where they talk about, you know, sex and a bunch of other things. They actually talk about, you know, some compelling story, and it's basically a show about hell. That's basically the entirety of the show. It's basically about hell. It's about redeeming yourself. Pretty good story. So we move on. During this time, I happened to get one of my close friends addicted to the show, and I happened to also get 2 other of my classmates addicted. I'm a really bad influence on my on some of my friends when it comes to indie shows and TV shows in general. So yeah, that's a thing. Connecting with the Hazbin Hotel, I also watched Hello the Boss at this time, and Hello the Boss, I would say, is more emotional than Hazbin. They definitely are more vulgar, but they're also more emotional and more willing to go into deeper topics. But that's a whole video for itself. But yeah, I also had reached to the point where my friends were starting to call me crazy because I had a Hazbin Hotel ringtone. And then I just kind of grew out of the phase, because like for me, I kind of go through these phases where I'm like really addicted to a fandom and everything. So I kind of grew out of it. But there was one thing I still had, which I'm going to pull it up right now. This is my Instagram Reels saved as of December 22nd, 2025. Hazbin Hotel. I have 452 saved posts for Hazbin. Murder Drones, I have 1,162. I'm more addicted to Murder Drones right now, but that's because it's also more recent, and I like it way better than Hazbin Hotel. But that's a story I've already explained. But yeah, I genuinely enjoyed Hazbin Hotel Season 1, and it was genuinely an amazing show to watch. And also an amazing show to share with some of my friends who were also kind of entering this indie space. And this was my first indie show that I really even watched. Before this, the most indie thing I can say, and this is not even being called indie, this is because like it's similar in the style, is maybe the Owl House. That's also made by Disney and Amphibia, which genuinely, it felt closer to the Owl House and Amphibia when it came to its writing system and everything. Had more songs and everything. But yeah. And then over the time, because of Hazbin, I actually got into Hello the Boss, and not just Hello the Boss, but I also got into a show called The Amazing Digital Circus. It was my first glitch show that I mainly watched. I didn't mention this in my Murder Drones video, but I didn't even watch Murder Drones at the time. Murder Drones was about to end. So, yeah, kind of some regrets that I didn't check out Glitch more, but I did check out The Amazing Digital Circus, and Hazbin was one of the things that actually opened the doors for me to enter indie animation. It was basically my opening to it. It was basically my opening to indie animation and getting into the space. Now, besides that, we have to now talk about Season 2. Season 2 had just released last month, as I'm recording this. I think, yeah, it was in November. November it released. Or was it late October? It was late October, early November. Potato, same thing. But Season 2, in my opinion, was beautiful. It has some flaws, which is similar to Murder Drones, where the power scales were kind of broken because they decide, hey, we're gonna basically make Lucifer, who's basically, you know, the fallen angel, supposed to have all these angelic powers, basically have no influence on any sinners. He can't harm them. So, yeah, they nerfed my boy, Lucifer. They also nerfed Alistair, but Alistair's nerfs were fixed in the end. It kind of made sense with his chains and everything. But Season 2 was genuinely enjoyable. And this is where I'm going to go into it. I don't like Charlie as a protagonist. Angel Dust is funny as a side character, but I even get tired of it. I'm genuinely more curious with the Lucifer, Alistair, and Vaggie plot lines that Season 2 kind of gave us. With Vaggie, it was kind of trying to find her new identity and trying to connect with Charlie. For Lucifer, it was trying to prove to his daughter that he's not... He's trying to prove to his daughter that he can actually do something properly. For Alistair, it was basically to break his chains from Rosie and basically no longer be under anyone's deals. And the way they made Vox Tech a major thing in Season 2 was genuinely pretty good. They executed it pretty well. Did it feel kind of over and like repetitive towards the end? Yes, it did, but they ended it off pretty good. So yeah, I would rate that season pretty highly. Seeing Human Alistair was pretty good. Getting backstories for Serpentius and Alistair in general were kind of amazing. Seeing their human forms of what they did in their past. So yeah, if I had to give Hazbin Season 2 a rating, Season 2 is far better than Season 1. Season 1 had some just issues, but Season 2 far better. They learned from their mistakes, but they did have some issues, especially with the power balancing. But yeah, Season 2 is pretty good, and it kind of reinvigorated me and my passion for indie animation, and also reinvigorated me to, okay, I'll check out Hazbin Hotel again. And I just messaged one of my friends about it, and she's gonna kill me soon. Yeah, a lot of my friends are gonna kill me. Also, another little side story I'm gonna talk about. If you ever watch Hazbin Hotel, keep it a secret from all your male friends, A, and 2, don't show up to school watching this or having merchandise. You're gonna learn the hard way. In conclusion, Hazbin Hotel got me into indie animation. Does Hazbin Hotel solve your issues with girls? No, it does not. Will it get me a girlfriend? Probably no. Will I get a girlfriend in the end of by the end of 2026? No, I won't. Damn, I have issues still. Yeah, overall Hazbin Hotel, 9 out of 10. So yeah, I hope you all enjoyed this video. You know, I've been working harder, and I'm really close to 100 subscribers now. I'm currently, as of right now, I'm at 90 subscribers, so I'm only 10 away from reaching the goal, which was 100 subscribers by the end of the year, and I'm just 2 subscribers away from beating one of my friends. So yeah, please subscribe if you can, like the video if you want to, and I hope you all enjoy the next video.